Good morning, everybody. Hey, it's Mike Schulmeister. Hey, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a rant today. Back in March of 2023, I decided I wanted to run for the President of the United States of America because I was getting sick of what the giant corporations have been doing to us. But from March, it's taken me this long, literally today, it's March 1st. We're almost to my anniversary of when I bought my domain, johnmichael2024.com. Back then, I had the brilliant idea that RFK just thought of as starting my own political party. I wanted to start my own political party, and I would have named it Robin Hood. And everybody knows why. I want to steal back from the rich and give back to the poor. I'm not stealing from the rich. I'm stealing back from the rich. RFK's kind of got it right. It ain't going to happen, bud. I mean, more power to you. You're going down the wrong road. Listen. There's two groups of people, politicians in the United States of America. There's the ones that support the giant corporations, and there's the ones that don't. There's the ones that allow the massive media corporations to continue to lie to the American people. They're not news organizations anymore, and I got two of them in mind. They're not news organizations anymore. They're entertainment. They absolutely spew crap. They need to be taken off the air. But that's not going to happen in America because of free speech. And I'm happy we got free speech because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm using my free speech. But you know what needs to happen? People, Americans, stop listening to the crap. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Stop. Turn it off. Listen to mainstream. I mean, luckily, we still have, a CBS News and NBC News. We've got the BBC. We got the PBS. We've got plenty of other news agencies. Diversify your news. If you still want to listen to the crap you're listening to, that's fine. Listen to other news channels too, and you're going to start to realize Donald Trump may have done most all of those crimes that he's been charged with. It's not the DOJ's going after him. It's because he did the damn crimes. People understand that. Joe Biden did not do any crimes. I'm not here to stick up for Joe Biden, but I will tell you one thing while I sit here, wisdom comes with age. Just because somebody is old and they're getting a little bit slower doesn't mean they're stupid. Stop listening to the news that's telling you he's stupid. He's not stupid, and he's not a crook. Stop listening to them when they tell you that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are involved in this great big old scheme. No. They're not telling you this. Their star witness has already been proven to be an absolute fraud and was trained by the freaking Russian intelligence companies. Stop listening to those news. Anyway, let me get back to giant corporations. Let me try to make it less political for you. Guess what political party all these giant corporations support? Sorry to say it. We got 29 governors out there that have been stealing your right to vote ever since somebody uttered the massive election fraud lie. That was a lie too, people. If you still believe that, oh my God, I feel so sorry for you. Diversify your news, please. There was never any massive voter fraud in any single state in the United States of America. 2020 was one of the most secure elections possible. Before I get too far off track, I want to get back to the Postal Office of the United States of America. It ought to be a crime what they did. A legal vote is a vote. It doesn't matter if somebody mails that in or somebody stands there and does it by hand. It doesn't matter. A legal vote is a legal vote. I love the fact we have many options. They don't want you to have options. They want you to have to walk into a thing. So all these people that can't physically get there because they've been so starved or they're freaking homeless now because the giant corporations have been inflating our little inflation period. They did this to it. I need a backup. They did this to our little inflation period. It should have been like this. Our groceries, our breakfast cereals, our hamburger, our eggs, our toilet paper, our cars, everything, oh my God, our property taxes should have went up like this. Inflation didn't go up 200% like my breakfast cereal did. That never happened. Inflation has been falling for over a year, people. These giant corporations and the food corporations and the fuel companies, the gas and oil, and the healthcare companies and the prescription drugs, they've all just they're just screwing us, people. There's nobody in. The problem is when Joe Biden got in, and there again, I want to be as independent as I can. I'm running for the presidency of the United States of America as an independent, and I'm doing that for a reason. I think we got too much corporation and we have way too many lobbyists on both sides. That's just a fact. I'm not, I try not to make things up, people. So, well, okay. If Joe Biden got in, he had a plan, and I don't know, it was like Build Back America or Build Back Better or something. I don't know what it was. It went off on a tangent, about trying to save the environment and all that. And here's the one thing I'm going to say. There's a whole lot of people, because of who you listen to, that'll sit and tell you there is absolutely no such thing as global warming. Or climate change. That ain't happening. Well, every single one of you and me, every one of you has to agree that our weather has changed. Our weather is not like it was when we were kids. If you're an 18-year-old person, you might not recognize that. If you're older than that, you know better. Our weather has changed, and not for the good. It's not, we got massive extremes out here. It is what it is. Some scientist out there has a better idea than you and me. We ought to shut up and listen just to see what they say. Just because you think scientists are not Democrats, scientists are not Republicans, they're not independents, scientists are scientists, and there's some wacky weird bastards, but you know what? They know. They're the ones that study this stuff. They know what's happening. Now, do they 100% know how we can fix it? I don't know. But do they have some ideas? Yes, they do. Do I want an all-electric car? No. There's 100% reason for that, and that's because my Republican Congress and Senate and legislatures and governors, whatever's in the state of Missouri, that decided to allow the utility companies to screw me 300%, I will not buy an electric car. I 100% believe in hybrid technology. I like the fact when you stop, you're not idling, you're not wasting gas. From 0 to 25 or whatever it is, you're using battery power that's regenerated by the gasoline engine that I'm driving while I'm driving it. I'm not going to take and plug it in. I went by a Walmart to actually come campaigning, trying to walk or just meeting people, shaking hands. And it was in Springfield, Illinois. And I parked right down by where they have the electric cars. And they had like maybe six charging stations. I don't know how many. There was a massive bank of tall as me, electrical boxes supporting those 6 or 8 chargers, however many chargers there was. It takes a massive amount of electricity to recharge those electric cars. So it makes sense why they want you to buy an electric car. Because the utilities, gas and oil, when I go to a gas station in Independence, Missouri, there's enough gas stations. They have to compete. They do compete. They will drop prices way faster. I live in Lee Summit, Missouri. They will not drop their prices. They hold their prices high for whatever reason. I'd like to find out why. Their prices, I can drive 3 miles and I can get gas sometimes for 10 to 15 cents a gallon cheaper all day long. Sorry, my alarm went off and just cut me off cold. I guess apparently at 6 a.m. it's time for me to wake up. Guess what? I'm already up. And I haven't even had my coffee yet, so bear with me. I can drive 3 miles and I can get gas much cheaper. Now, when they all go together and they raise prices up, they're all pretty much the same nowadays. They got that figured out. Everybody, right now today, everybody is $2.99 a gallon where I am at. It was down to in the 260s, 250s around in there, but they raised it back up. They gave us a break long enough. It's time for them to get their profits again. But there's no difference in the gas station. The same gas station, I won't mention names, the same gas station that's right here 3 miles away can be 10 cents, 15 cents cheaper. That's just wrong. I don't know that my city has higher taxes or fuel taxes. I'll find out, but I don't know that they have that. Anyway, let's get back to the giant corporations again. I want people to understand that every single time you go somewhere and they won't take your cash, you're at too big of a business. Joe's Plumbing down here, call Joe. Here's what's happening. Joe is under so much price what's that called? He's overpriced. He's overtaxed on everything he does. He just about can't even give his employees a health insurance anymore because the health insurance industry and the medical industry has jacked their prices up so extremely high. There's nobody out there in the government today fighting for you to lower that down. Listen to everything that the House of Representatives, which there again happens to be Republican controlled, listen to everything they're going after and doing. They're trying to impeach a president that has done nothing wrong because they have nothing better to do. The leader now of the House is listening to ex-president Trump, and he's screwing up legislation here in the United States of America because he's following what an ex-president is telling him. That is so ridiculous and so sad. Fire him. Get him out of there. The Republicans have no ethics. George Santos got in there, lied the whole way in, and sat in there. They left him in there as long as they possibly could to continue to get one more Republican vote. It's the only reason. They have no ethics. They need to be cleaned out. They are the same people, part of the same people that supported the 2017 corporate tax cuts that gave every one of their billionaire buddies massive amounts of money. I mean, it's ridiculous. And you know what we got? 1 to 4%. You know what they got? 40%. And they got a free ticket to not pay taxes anymore. They gave them more loopholes, more opportunities to not pay a dime in taxes to support every one of us hardworking Americans. They want to sit here on our soil. They want to make all our money. They want to overcharge us for everything. They want maximum profits, and they want our government to continue to keep giving them tax breaks. Our 29 governors that support that have every one of them is on track. If they haven't already, they've already done. They're giving the giant corporations tax breaks in their own state as well. It's a double whammy. They've already been given a tax credit or tax breaks. They already don't have to pay taxes to the federal governments now, thanks to our 29 governors that are suck-up puppets for the super rich. I call them evil puppets. There's a book out there called The Evil Puppets. Why don't you read that sometime? That would be great. Or Stump the Wolf. That's another good one. I just like those books. Anyway, people, we've got one shot at this in 2024. I want to be the president of the United States of America for a reason. I want to get in there and I want to make change. I'm starting to realize I'm late to the party. I may not get enough people to actually say, we want Mike Schulmeister to run this country. So I might have to back down and do something different. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to do something in politics to make damn sure my life matters because your life matters. I want to do something for you. I have never, ever woke up and said, you know what? I want to be the president of America, president of the United States of America, because I want to have all this power and I want to be popular. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it because there's nobody there for you. Joe Biden, I wish to God the Democrats could have found somebody as passionate as me to run this country and to let Joe retire. I wish the Republicans could have found somebody as passionate as me as to run for them as the President of the United States of America. We need people, honest, hardworking people. Listen, I've told you before, I am a garage door repair guy. I've been a software developer. I've did diesel mechanics. I've been a construction worker. I've done a little bit of everything. I've learned a little bit of everything. Do I know anything about politics? No. Is that a good thing? Yes, that's a great thing. People, I want every one of you watching this to sit and think about for 1 second for me. What would happen if you stepped forward to run for even, I don't care if it's your school district, your city council, your county, your state, the governor, be the governor, be a legislator. Hey, it's a good paying job. Some of them, they're decent paying jobs with benefits. Do it for all your family and your community. Run for the state senate. I got a guy, Mr. Koontz. I'm sorry. I want to say Jared. I apologize. We've got, the Missouri has a senator out there that supported January 6th with all his heart because he is a true puppet for the super rich here in the United States of America. And I hope he gets voted out by a landslide. Mr. Koontz, damn it, I wished I would have met him. I need to meet the guy personally. You 100% have my vote. I will not vote back in anybody that stood there proud and supported the insurrection at our Capitol building in the United States of America. Every one of those men and women that stood up there, and especially after the attack, and still fought against our Constitution of the United States of America to save a leader that was voted out. I don't know how every one of them men and women are not in prison today. I don't know how Donald Trump's not in prison today. I mean, I use the word treason. Apparently, we don't call it that anymore. Listen, Republicans, I'm so saddened for you that your party has been hijacked. I mean, it's terrible. Your party was hijacked in 2017 by a billionaire, and their grips are even tighter than they were then. We need to, when you go to the polls, do not vote by party. Please vote by person. You vote for whoever you want to vote for, but I wish you would just do a little bit of homework and find out all the men and women that should not be leading our country anymore. Just because they have an R in front of their title doesn't mean they're a good person. Just because they have a D in front of their title doesn't mean they're a good person or good for America. I'm not just picking on the Republicans. I am, however, picking on the super rich and the puppets in our Congress that have supported them. Congress holds more power than the President of the United States of America at getting things done. When I got a presidential candidate that looks me right in the eye and tells me that he's going to get in and he's going to be a dictator for just one more day, I'm looking at the same exact guy that looked in my face, looked me in the eye, and told me he won an election and Joe Biden cheated. Joe Biden did not cheat. He did not win an election, and I do not believe he's going to be a dictator for just one day. That man, in my world, is an evil man. He needs to be retired. He needs to go away. If he needs to do time in prison, he needs to do time in prison. I'm 100% good with that. I'm saddened that he's a Republican, or he says he's a Republican, because I want to help every single American out there. Short of the 100 people in Congress, at least 8 of the governors and probably 29 of them, and the legislators that backed stealing money from our public school districts and restricting our right to vote. I hope every one of them all get an opportunity to retire, go home, sit and reflect about what they did, and then 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 8 years from now, when they've redeemed themselves and they want to come back and truly help the American citizen again, I welcome them to come back and run and tell us, I am sorry for what I did. I apologize. It was wrong. Thank you very much. Please consider me again. This time, I'm truly here for you. That's what I want to see. Election 2024, if I don't get I'll get one vote. If I don't get any more votes than that, so be it. I just want people to educate yourself. Don't take my word for it. I'm just an option out here. I'm just another guy out here flapping. Just like the podcasters. I get so tired of people, oh, you ought to listen to this podcast. He's great. No, he's great because he can sit and lie to you and nobody can do anything about it. There's still media corporations in the United States of America that have a little bit of integrity and they actually tell the truth. Diversify your news. And I don't want to call you a fool if you don't, but you need to diversify your news. Listen to news from other people. Get off the phone. Get off the social media. I'm going to be on social media right now. I'm going to post this dude on social media. And you know why? Because that's how people hear things. The sad part is that's how people hear crap as well. People, put on your little crap filter and in your fancy glasses like I got. I got fancy glasses. I can see right through the crap. Oh, there's a lot of crap. Oh, no, I see better with these on. I see through the crap. Put on your fancy glasses, whether they're imaginary or not, and see through the crap. Listen, seek the people in your community and in your nation that are out to help you and your family and your grandkids you don't even have yet. I want a better America again for the grandkids you don't have yet. That's what I want to do. That we need it for your grandkids you have right now. I want to do it for the future coming up. The path we're on right now, with the absolute frustration, the financial frustrations that these giant corporations and these political puppets have imposed on us. And you notice I keep pointing to the right? That's on purpose. They've done some of it too. They've spent too much money. They've given away way too much money to people, lazy people that do not want to work. Trust me, some of them programs need to get cut in half. If you're so damn lazy that you can't go out and get yourself a job and work. Now, there's a difference. We're in a different time right now because the giant corporations have taken technology and done every single thing they can to cut every single job away from you. Our cities, our municipalities. I just drove, maybe it was through Kansas. I don't know where it was. I was just somewhere that had toll booths, and they were proud to tell us it's cashless, baby. You don't get to stop and pay. We're not going to hire another ticketing agent and pay them. We're just going to suck the money out of you. We're not going to give any of it back. No different than if you go to an airport. A lot of the airports nowadays, they're going to take your money and they're not going to pay anybody for it. No different than these giant sporting events. I will take my money and go to I'll go watch a football game or basketball game at my high school that I went to, or one of the smaller schools, because they still pay people. They still take cash. They support their own community. That is what I want. I want the people that support our community, period. Cashless means nothing to me. Cashless is greed. That's exactly what it is. When I walk in a fast food restaurant or a dang coffee shop, and they tell me, oh, we don't have it, you got to use the kiosk over there, I'm done. When I walk in a major freaking grocery store like I have here in town, and they tell me, oh, well, we only have one cashier working today, but we got 27 self-checkout stations. Go use one of them. No. Hire somebody. They say, well, we just can't find good people who want to work. BS. You don't want to pay for good people to work. That's the problem. Here's the other thing, people. Another reason why it's kind of obvious to me. There's a lot of people that don't want to work, and I wished I knew the lady's name. I think she's in California. There was an absolute fantastic YouTube video out there that I watched the other day. God, I wished I knew her name. I never did find out her name. She does the math for one of the giant bankers and tells him personally, he's, talking about people need to just, work, they can, lazy people don't make enough money. She did the math. If you make $16.50 an hour, which is a decent wage. I mean, you would like to think it's a decent wage. By the time you pay housing, you pay all your taxes, and you give your money to the government. And in her case, she was a single mom, and she has to pay for after-school care because there's nobody, it's not free, so you got to pay for that. She could not make enough money. She was $500 short every single month. That is what is happening to all of us Americans. We can't make enough money. Our good jobs are going away. The giant corporations are also coming in buying old Bob the plumber. They got other plumbing companies that are saying, hey, Bob, we see you're under all this financial pressure. It might be a good time for you to sell. Why don't you sell to us? Sell us your list of all your customers. So what Bob does, Bob is so frustrated, he decides, you know what, it's a good chance. I'm just going to retire early. I'm going to take this money. I'm going to retire early. So Bob sells it. So they buy Bob. They keep Bob's name. They keep all Bob's customers. And when people call up, they say, oh, yeah, well, this ain't Bob, but, we're a small little company. We just bought it from Bob. Well, what they aren't, they're not a small. There's some giant ass corporation out there that owns this company. They pretend like they are. Well, surprisingly, the rates went up a whole lot more, and surprisingly, they pay their help a whole lot less, and they strip away most all of the benefits that the employees used to get. All that goes away too. So now, Bob's customers are all paying way more money. Their employees are making less money. Sorry, I'm getting dry. I must have been talking too much. Sorry, I apologize for that. I'm going to get a drink of water here in a second. The giant company buys them out, and now every time somebody calls old Bob's number, they're expecting to get a decent deal by a decent guy paying a decent wage for somebody in their city. That ain't always what happens now. So now Bob's gone. There's one less Bob, one more giant corporation. It's got these lists of phone numbers. People get a little bit lazy. So they're like, okay, well, instead of calling somebody else, go ahead. So they come out, and then you get to hear on social media how bad they just got screwed. Bob would have never done that. Well, you know what? Bob probably never would have done that. They're not telling a lie. They're telling the truth. So then Joe's plumbing down here. Joe's picked up a little bit of extra business because Bob's gone, out. But everything that Joe buys, the taxes and the insurances that everybody makes you have nowadays, he's starting to hurt as well. So eventually, he gets bought out. Okay, now, every time somebody in this town calls, either one of them, well, they get a giant corporation now. And they get, well, I ain't going to say they get screwed, but they pay a whole lot more money than what they used to do. So what we need is legislation in the United States of America that supports Bob's Plumbing. We need people in there that want to help, listen carefully, want to help small businesses and the American people here in the United States of America. That's what we need, is the people that want to help small businesses and medium-sized businesses, not giant corporations. Every one of them need to retire and go away. We need a massive change in our country, 2024. Whether I'm part of it or not, we need a massive change. Every single one of you Americans will benefit. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Green parties, and JFK or RFK's new party. Sorry to dog on him, but, Bud, more power to you. Mrs. Haley. Some people may think she may be a better candidate than not Joe Biden, damn it. The other one, Donald Trump. Sorry, I always forget about him. I try to forget about him. She's there 100% as a backup in case he goes to jail. She's 100% supported by the billionaires. 100%. She is only their option. She's not your option. She's their option. Sadly, not saying anything bad about her. She's there for the giant corporations. They're the ones that can't shove money in her pocket fast enough. They can't get her on the news fast enough. There's one reason why she hasn't went away. It's because the giant money is scared that somebody in the United States of America is going to actually do the right thing and put Donald Trump in prison. Then they would be left in a vacuum with nobody. So they've got Mrs. Haley out here waiting in the wings that if they need to deploy her, they will. That's why she's there. And I'm there again. She's probably a great person. She's probably a great Republican. She's too deep in the pockets of the giant billionaires. I don't support any of those billionaires at all. It saddens me. They have slowly crept in and intertwined every bit of our life and taken a hold. And that's why there's so much frustration out there. That's why we have people doing these mass shootings. People are so frustrated. Watch people drive. People drive like idiots because they are so frustrated. They have nowhere else to turn, so why not just go straight as fast as they can? Maybe eventually they'll find somewhere that's somebody that can help them. People, drivers aside, drivers get wacky, but I understand why they get wacky. You get wacky. I get wacky. The frustration level is insane. You remember back, it was before 2017. I went to read some financial books. I went to a couple financial classes. And the one theme I kept hearing, and I thought was actually a pretty good idea. Okay, every dollar you make, what you need to do is you need to take 10% of that and you need to put it right into a savings account. So for future use, you need to take another 10% out of that. And we're gonna take 30% out. We're gonna take another 10% of that, and you need to tithe it. You need to donate that to somebody. It's your church, a children's charity. You need to donate it to somebody. Okay, then you take the other 10% and you have to invest that somewhere. You have to invest that for your future. The 10%, just save that for a rainy day. When you find, eventually you'll find some kind of a deal where you can take that 10% that's built up and you got all this money. You can take that and you can buy something with that and make yourself happy. Go on a family vacation, or you can buy some of that and make more money. Maybe buy something and sell it, and make more money. That's great. Nobody today, short of the super rich, have an extra 30% to just divvy up and do that with. Nobody has that today. Nobody is allowed in the United States of America today to make 30% extra. So they've got savings every time. Our taxes have went up so high. Our food has went up so high. We need a drastic change. I'm going to go clear back to what I said earlier. The Democrats had a thing called Build Back Better, something like that. I haven't even got to see the whole thing. I'd love to see the whole thing. Basically what it said was, how are we going to find ways to counter technology and these giant corporations and get better paying jobs back for the people, the citizens of the United States of America? I 100% will revisit that. And I know for a fact every single Democrat out there better be going back and reviewing that and figuring out what they're going to do when they win this election season. All of our congressmen and women out there that get replaced and I hope some of these, and I'm going to use the word Republicans because they're the ones that supported the freaking billionaire and supported these giant corporations and got us in the mess that we're in today. I hope some of them get replaced with other Republicans. There are hardworking Americans just like me and just like you out there that happen to be Republicans. There's hundreds of millions of good Republicans. We just have to get rid of the hijacked puppets that are in there today and get back to a strong and stable America and a Republican Party and a Democrat Party and an independent party and whatever RFK is creating out there. I agree that, the two-party system is kind of screwed. Luckily, we've always got a check and a balance, one on each side or the other. Today, we need to lean towards the left. I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to say that. I'm sorry to say that, but we have to do it. 2024, we have to lean that direction. I went back and did a little research. We've had Republicans and Democrats as the main party since 1850. That was a long time ago. I think I figured out, what was that, 174 years. For 174 years, we have worked together one way or another, and we have brought this country to where we are today. We will continue to do that with the two-party system. I apologize, RFK. Love your thoughts. I know you got a few supporters. I hope you just run over everybody. It saddens me that, in my mind, you're taking votes away from who you shouldn't. But I believe I read a fact that more Republicans are supporting him because they're so frustrated with their own party that, that's what happens. When you screw the American people, your party's going to suffer. That's just how it works in America. It always rights itself, and I hope to God we right ourselves again at this next election. Like I said, I'm attempting to run for the President of the United States of America. I wanted to create my own political party. I should have done it back a year ago. I may have had more traction. I may have been able to get some things accomplished. I didn't do it. I didn't have the flat, to be quite honest, I didn't have the balls to do it. I didn't have the balls to sit in front of this camera and talk to people. That's what it all boils down to. I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the support. Nowadays, after seeing the shootings and everything that's happening and seeing the frustrated Americans, my neighbors, losing their home because technology and greed has overrun our country and has stripped all our good paying jobs. That's what's happening. That's what's happened to my neighbors every single day. That's what's happening to your neighbors. It's getting worse. There's a little snowball going on there. We got to reverse it as absolute fast as we can. Stop supporting the giant corporations. Start supporting your local people. Find businesses that are local people. Spend your money there. If you're spending your money on that big giant online corporation, understand your money is leaving your community and it's not coming back. They're not sharing that money. They're not giving it back. They're not paying taxes. They're not sending that back. They're not taking cash. They won't take your cash. They're partnered up with the giant banks. They want to make sure their giant banks are making 2 to 3% off of every single thing you buy. Everything you buy with a credit card, 2 to 3% of your money goes somewhere else to some big bank. They're slowly sucking every dime out of us. Stop it. We need to find ways today to spend our cash locally. I don't care if you don't use cash. Go to places that take cash. Go to your local bank where you can give them cash, where you can say, hey, I want 20 bucks. I'm going out to dinner tonight at a little local restaurant. I want to pay them cash, or at least I want to pay the waitress a cash tip. I want cash circulating in my city and my community again. That's what needs to happen. I was in a shopping mall, and let me think, it was in Des Moines, Iowa, last week, and I went around shaking hands and meeting people. I went right through that shopping mall, and I was walking right down the middle, and there was 2 young men, and I'm going to tell you right up front, they were black, they were African American, they were colored, whatever you want to call them. I don't know the correct term for you. They were African American black men, and I love talking to those guys. I walked by those guys. I had my leather boots on. I got them on right now. I had my leather boots on, and one of them young men says, "Hey, sir, come here." He said, "Let us clean up your boots." And I'm like, I look down. They look nasty. I was like, "Thank you, first of all, thank you." I went over there. He polished me up. Of course, he's got a product he wants to sell me, and it's like 50 bucks. And he said, "I'll tell you what, though. I'll sell it to you for 40 bucks today." I'm like, "I'll tell you what. You're doing such a fantastic job on my boots. I 100% want to pay you for what you're doing to my boots, but I don't need your product because these boots aren't going to get polished again for another 6 months or a year. I like the look of my worn boots because I wear my boots." Anyway, he polished me up, and I said, "Hey, beautiful. How much do I owe you?" He said, "Oh, man, give me 10 bucks. I said, "I'm going to give you 20 bucks. Thank you very much." I handed that to him. I handed him my business card. Wished I had one on. I don't have one on me. Dang it. Anyway, I handed him my business card, and I told him thank you very much, and I shook his hand, and I said, "I love Americans that hustle." And I don't mean hustle people. I mean hustle. He was not there to hustle people. 10 bucks to shine both of my boots. He shined them all up, and he waterproofed them with his bare hands. That was so worth 10 bucks to me. I would do it all day long. I was so proud. If he would have looked at me and said, "Oh, I only take credit cards," I would have said, "You just screwed yourself, buddy. You're not getting a dime of my money. I am sorry. I apologize." He knew better. He's a hard-working businessman. He's a local man, and he took cash. And I had cash to give him, and I felt good about it. I walked away giving him a 100% tip, or 200%, however you want to look at it. He was worked on my boots 5 minutes, and he made 10 bucks. He asked for 10 bucks. That's a very good wage. Very smart businessman. Well worth 10 bucks to me. Anyway, let's move on. At the end of the day, people, all I ask, please diversify your news. I guess I better watch out. My next alarm's going to go off that I have to get up and take a shower. Been there, done that too. Diversify your news. Try to use local people. Try to pay cash. Stop going to the places and stop using the businesses and stop using the banks that do not take cash anymore. I'm saddened to say it, but my going to sports events is probably about over. It hacks me off. I have to use a credit card for everything because of greed and them not wanting to share any of that money with any of my local family, friends, and relatives. And just, everybody's my brothers and sisters around here, people. That's how I treat everybody. That's how they need to be respected and treated. It bothers me. They're taking money out of our pocket. They're taking food off of my kitchen table every single day. It needs to change. We need change in America. I'm sorry to say it. If I couldn't vote for myself this next election, if I had to vote for Donald Trump, which I call bad grandpa, or I had to vote for Joe Biden, which I call forgetful grandpa, I'm going with forgetful grandpa all day long, because that billionaire does not need to get back in, especially when he tells you flat out to your face that I'm going to be a dictator. In my opinion, he already was. It's just going to get worse. No, thank you. I'm done. Sorry to every Republican out there. Your party needs to do better, and they need to find somebody that's not got a huge pocket full of money. That's not what life is about. That's not what our American life is about. It's not about being controlled by the giant corporations and the giant banks in this country. That's not what it's about. Change things. Please get off your butt, just like I'm doing or trying to do, and do something. Run for an office. I got a thing the other day, magically, it happened to be from the Democrats, because the Republicans don't seem to mail me anything. Wonder why. From the Democrats that said, listen, we still have some uncontested races in the state of Missouri. There's a Republican candidate that's just going to win because we have nobody that's running. That is so wrong, people. Please take a little pride and ownership in your country and in your state. Whether you have to grow some balls, whatever it takes. If you're out of work and you can't find a job, hey, fight back. Run for a political office. If you've got some people don't quite have I don't necessarily have the aptitude. I don't know that I have it. I'm going to learn it. I will learn it. You can't hold me back. I'm going to learn whatever I get. If I got elected into any office that I run for, I don't know where I'm going to end up. If I get elected, I'm going to do the absolute best I can, and there's going to be one priority of mine, and that's going to be all the hardworking men and women in the United States of America, and all the people that right now today are becoming homeless because of greed in our giant corporations and in our political houses. That greed 100% needs to go away. We got to get that under control today. I'm sorry for the rant, for the rave. I hope you sticked with me. If you did, johnmichael2024.com or Facebook, johnmichael2024. I need friends. I need followers. Like I say, we'll see where I get to go in life. I get more frustrated every single day. It saddens me what happened. There's a shooting in Independence, Missouri. That's where I grew up. Yesterday, a police officer was killed and a court official was killed. I believe his name was Drexel and Cody. It saddened me that happened, and that got me frustrated. I'm already sitting at this sporting event, gritting my teeth, ticked that they went all cashless. And then I sit and I get to read about that senseless shooting. And you know what? It was because they were serving a guy to evict him. Why was he getting evicted? Did he lose his good job? I have no idea. Did he just quit working and decided he wasn't going to pay anymore? I have no idea. I don't know. Nobody knows yet that I know of. Nobody knows what caused that, but I guarantee frustration had a lot to do with it. That man, I assume it was a man that did the shooting. I'm sorry, I assumed that. I don't even know that. I haven't even, as of this morning, I haven't heard the suspect's name, who was in custody. and didn't get shot himself. Sometimes that's the outcome I wish they had. That's sad. Hopefully, he goes to prison for the rest of his life, and then he does good things from prison. That would be the best case scenario here, because there is no best case scenario here. What happened? Anyway, I'm done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else brilliant I could tell you, which I don't know that I've said anything brilliant, but frustration is coming out in every one of us Americans. Direct that in the right direction. Don't shoot people. Vote out the bad people. That's what needs to happen. Take your frustrations to the polls and make a difference. Thank you very much.